Hey there, have you been looking for a way to put scissor doors on your Caterpillar tunnel? Well, I just did that. Let me show you how I did it. First, let me get it open. All right, nice and open. Let me show you everything that's involved and put one of these together. So I'm gonna go through the build here, show you all the parts that you need, but I also want to explain my context and what I was looking for in a design for an end wall. And I put out a call on Instagram and got a lot of cool ideas, and they ranged a lot from more permanent solutions to more temporary solutions. And what I was looking for were a couple things. One is I wanted it to be very simple to construct, very quick to construct, and very cheap. But also a big part for me is I'm in North Carolina, and most of the year it's very hot here, and the end walls are going to be completely wide open. So to me, some sort of door structure situation was not going to be great for me because I want maximum ventilation. I want the tunnel to be open up all the way. And so to me, the scissor doors made the most sense. Give you a little bit more context here. This is a 100-foot Gothic Pro tunnel from Farmer's Friend, and apologize for all the mess going on in here, but we're just still really building out the farm here. We got some beds built down there, haven't planted them yet, and haven't built beds here yet. So that's what's going on here. I did just get these scissor doors up, and I want to show you how I did that. Now, a lot of the inspiration here came from Johnny's Selected Seeds. They have a really nice instruction kit, and I'll leave a link down below, and I did get some parts from them too for this build, but everything else was, other than from Johnny's, was from Lowe's, and I'll show you how to do this if you're interested. Let's go check it out. So most of the details that we need to talk about are going on up here at the top, and the way it works is it's put together with two fencing top rails that are attached with a couple of fittings up here and a little bit of an extension at the top. Let me show you that. So this is the top of the scissor doors and the end of the tunnel. This is where all the business is going down here. And so this is the center purlin that runs down the length of the tunnel, and this is what comes with the Farmer's Friend kit. And it usually ends here at the last hoop, and this is the cap that comes with the kit. So what we did is we put a little extension on here, and I'll show you this in a second. And then there are these special clamps here that I got from Johnny's that bolt through the fencing top rail here, and these are the two scissor doors right here. So let me get down off the ladder and show you all the parts. These are all the parts I used to put this together, plus 4 of the fencing top rail sections. They're 10.5 feet long, galvanized steel. You get them at any hardware store. I don't have them with me right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You need 4 for one tunnel, and they're useful for all sorts of stuff on the farm. So they're also galvanized, so they last a long time. And a big disclaimer here is what I usually say with a lot of my videos. There are lots of ways to do this. This is just how I did it. There are probably better ways to do this. There are definitely different ways to do this, but I always like to show you what I did and give you guys some ideas. Hopefully you can use this or parts of this to do your own build. Let's talk about some of these parts here. So first of all, we have a bunch of Tek screws, which we'll need. And these guys are awesome. They come with the Farmer's Friend kit. They just screw in a metal. They're self-tapping. There should be some extra from your kit. And then the big part about this build are these band clamps, and these I got from Johnny's. And what happens here is that this section slides over that little extension at the top, that little nub that sticks out. And this is that piece right there. And this just slides over like that. And this is what allows it to swing back and forth. So these are super important. It does come with a nut and bolt, which is the wrong size, so it just gets discarded or used for something else. Another thing you're gonna need are these 1/4 inch by 2 inch galvanized bolts, and I got these at Lowe's, and I got coordinating washers and nuts. The instructions from Johnny say 1/4 inch by 1 3/4, but they didn't have that, so I used 2 inches. It's a little bit longer. That's fine. These are gear ties. These are super cool. I've used these for all sorts of things on the farm. I use these to tie the two scissor doors together at the bottom. And another part from Johnny's are these clamps, and these fit over fencing top rail. I highly recommend just getting these and just ordering this and the other ones together from Johnny's. I'm sure you might have something else to order from them anyways. And so these work really, really well. And then this is the top section that goes into the fencing, into the purlin at the top. And the way I got this was I just cut off the end of the fencing top rail. And this is a 6.5 inch piece. So the swaged end here, or swedge, I don't know how to pronounce it, is 3 inches. So in total, 6.5 works really well. The Johnny's instructions say to leave 4 inches, but I left 3.5. It worked fine. And basically that height, once I cut this off the end of that fencing top rail, gave me the height that I needed for the door. So that's all the stuff. And then the stuff over here will be for securing the scissor doors up to the sides. And I'll show you that when we get to that point. All right, so this is the second tunnel, which we haven't put doors on yet. And this is the very end. And this is secured to the last hoop here. And this screw right here, if you pull that out, slide in the extension piece, so the swaged end goes in there, and then you put that screw back in. That will hold it in place about there and give you that little extension to hook those clamps onto. Let me show you how those go together. So this is how it's going to get installed, and this is that little extension piece. Here's the swaged end. This will go into the center purlin, and this part will be the part sticking out right here. These are those clamps, and they slide over, and they'll attach here to the top rail pieces, which will be your scissor doors. So let me show you how that works. Pretend this is one of the scissor doors. This will slide on over here, and then you drill a 1/4 inch hole through here. You put that bolt through and put the washer nut on the back side, and you're good to go. What I do though is I make these assemblies up ahead of time on the ground, and then once you're ready to put it on, you just go up here and just pop it on like that, and then your door's on. Once you have both of them on, what you're going to do is drill a Tek screw right through here, and that'll keep these from sliding off, and then you can put that cap back on right there and be good to go. After you get the poles installed, you want to start working on the plastic. Now I have a 100-foot Gothic Pro kit, and I cut a 104-foot piece of plastic to do the roof and sides, that one piece of plastic that I cover the tunnel with. What was left over, I cut it in half, lengthwise and widthwise, and that gave me my 4 panels, and there was plenty of plastic to do this part of the job. All right, so when you were trying to get it attached here, one thing it is I measured, because I'm on a slope here, I wanted to make sure that this lined up in the middle. So what I did was I put a piece of rebar right in the middle of the tunnel at the very end, and I clamped the pole to it so I knew it was in the middle. And that way and I did that for both sides when I did them. And that way I knew it was going down right towards the middle. And if you have a little bit of a slope, that will help. Otherwise, maybe when they hang, it'll be in the middle, but I just wanted to double check that. And it keeps it from moving around also when you're trying to put the plastic on. So again, just put a piece of rebar in the middle and then clamp that to the pole, and it'll keep it nice and rigid while you work on it. I tried a couple different ways here. The best way I found was to just line up the plastic along this pole here and then work your way out and around. So again, attach the plastic here with these clamps. I used 5 for each pole, and then pulled the plastic out and around. And if you have someone helping you, that makes it a lot easier. And when you do that, then you install the wiggle wire along the channel, and you'll probably need a little bit extra wiggle wire. I don't think it came with my kit, but I had some left over, or if you can buy it from pretty much anywhere that sells that stuff, or maybe you have some left over from another project. But just install it along there. It should be nice and tight. If you need to make any adjustments, you can do that with moving the clamps around. The other thing you want to keep in mind is you want to make sure that you offset the clamps just a little bit here so that they don't hit. So you want to make sure that they're offset a little bit, and that'll help you getting the doors a little bit closer together. And once you have everything squared away, then drive these Tek screws in through the clamps, and that will hold them in place and keep them from sliding around. So that's about it for installing the plastic. It went pretty easily once I figured out that you have to start with this straight edge here and then work your way back and around. So let me talk about how I hold them up now and show you some of the hardware involved in that. So this is the hardware that I use to hold up the scissor doors, and I got this idea from Michelle at Farm Belly. If you want to check out the video I did with her, I'll leave a link up there and also down below for you to check out. Beautiful farm, and got some really cool ideas. But she was using this to hang up all the plastic. I'm just using this to hold up the scissor doors, but same setup, very cool. So the main thing is these bungees. These are adjustable bungees, which is super cool, so you don't have to commit to a certain length. I got these at Lowe's, and they seem just a little bit more durable than the sort of standard bungee material, but we'll see how it holds up over time. These are the S-hooks that come with it. And then the other thing you're gonna need are these guys here, and these are D-rings. These are like picture hangers or whatever, but they work and they're strong enough for what they need. And these screw in to the hoops, and I'll show you that in a second. And then you're gonna need some zip ties. So let me show you what this looks like on the tunnel. So here's the end of the bungee here, and literally just zip tied this into the wiggle wire here. And again, there's not that much stress on this, and this should hold it pretty well. So again, just zip tied through the hole on the bungee, through the wiggle wire. Let me show you on the inside. Here's how it attaches on the inside. This is that D-ring that I just showed you, screwed in with a Tek screw. I know it seems pretty small, but it seems plenty strong enough. These are the S-hooks that come with the bungee and then through. And again, it's adjustable, so you know, you don't have to be super precise about it. You can fix it later, but super simple way to hold these up and out of the way. Another way you can hold the doors open is using a clamp like this. I bought some of these and tried it out and I didn't like it. I found it to be a little bit too cumbersome, trying to stuff everything in here and get it just right. The bungees work a lot better. So another way I deviated from this sort of the Johnny's design, they have a ground post that goes in here that's just a piece of top rail. They pound in the ground and then they have a bolt going through it, that and these two to hold it together. Now, I think in a very high wind situation, I think that's crucial because that'll keep the doors from blowing in and out. But after talking with Vera at 10 Mothers Farm, they just put sandbags on the inside and the outside along the ground and just tie them together. And she said it's been working out pretty well for them. We both shared the concern about that being a tripping hazard because that goes right in the middle of the center walkway and I just didn't want that in the way. So for them, it's worked out pretty well. And then I just used these ties here, which I showed you earlier, and you just put it on and you twist them together, and this is pretty sturdy. And one thing is I left the poles as long as possible to keep it as low to the ground as I can. You can see it just about hits the ground here. So gets a really nice seal, you know, for a scissor door, and I'm thinking I'm gonna be pretty happy with this. One other thing I wanna mention is that I left a foot or two of plastic at the end of the door where it reaches the ground, coming out this way so that I could put sandbags or other things on there to keep it a little bit more sealed. And remember, this is a caterpillar tunnel. This is not a double-walled, fully sealed up, really fancy greenhouse. It's a caterpillar tunnel. It's drafty. There's air's gonna creep in along the sides, you know, in all sorts of different cracks. And so keep in mind that like this door doesn't seal, and it doesn't have to because it's not gonna be perfectly sealed in a caterpillar tunnel. And so far, I really like this setup. I think it checks all the boxes. It's quick and easy to set up. It's inexpensive. It's easy to operate. Gives me maximum airflow, which I'm super excited about. And the good thing here also is if I want to upgrade to something more permanent down the road, it's very easy to take this off and reversible, and I could build something else. So big thanks for ideas from all of you guys who sent me information, but especially to Jackson at Stonehouse Market Farm and No Till Growers, Vera at 10 Mothers Farm, and also Michelle at Farm Belly for helping me out a little bit and giving me some ideas that have been incorporated into this design here. So hopefully you found this helpful and you're able to either use this idea or parts of this idea or just give you inspiration for other things going on in your tunnels or your farm. And thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one.